How's it going, everybody? Something incredible was just found in the world of Final Fantasy VII speedrunning, and I just wanted to quickly bring it up to you guys and show you what it's all about. This was first discovered by Kuma, and then Ace Zephyr was the one to go in and actually figure out what was going on and figure out the consistent setup for it, with help from Diesel and Masuda. There have been some incredible finds in Final Fantasy VII in the last couple months. Just a lot of people going in and completely destroying the game from inside out. It just goes to show you that this game never stops giving. It seems like every single year we say that this is going to be the last big thing that's ever found in Final Fantasy VII, and then people just go in and find the craziest stuff. And this is indeed crazy. This is an easier Cosmo Canyon setup. It's basically the holy grail of PS1 Final Fantasy VII speedruns, and I'll quickly explain why. Over the course of the last couple months, almost more than a year now, the very, very top Final Fantasy VII speedrunners have been doing a skip known as Cosmo Canyon skip. It is an incredibly difficult and frustrating trick to do. It involves a double chocobo glitch. It involves 12 plus pixel perfect placements of the buggy on the world map. And it involves a in-game time that is specific to the trick. So it basically makes the entire beginning of the run awful, because the beginning has to be so consistent that you're always ending up near the right in-game time in order to pull off this trick. And then the rest of the run is kind of like a reset button, because you're always doing that trick at the same time, and then you have to pull off the rest of the run. If you know anything about speedrunning, in-game time reliant tricks are awful. And it has made the PS1 Final Fantasy VII speedrun really terrible, because the very, very top speedrunners attempt it in their runs, and it pretty much alienates everyone that isn't willing to put up with the terrible trick. And so we've always wanted this kind of holy grail of an easier Cosmo Canyon skip, and today that was finally found. This Cosmo Canyon setup takes no in-game time, takes way less pixel perfect movement. It's very easy to pull off. I was able to pull it off on my first try, and doesn't include any other glitches like the double chocobo glitch. It is very, very easy to pull off, and is much, much better for the speedrun, and faster as well. So I'm going to show you how it's done. So we're doing this on emulator just so I can show you exactly what the buggy coordinates are, but of course this works on the PS1 version just the same. First we're going to jump into the desert and then just leave the desert. That way the buggy is in the same exact spot to start off the trick. Then we are going to travel down, and we're going to stop at the beach here, and we're going to land on exactly this pixel. So I actually used the left side of the buggy to line this up, kind of where the beach gets a bit brighter there. You can also use the top and line up with where the beach meets the grass. You could also use the nose of the buggy and line up with the water, whatever works best for you. Once we're in this position, all we need to do is travel to Cosmo Canyon. But we cannot do any diagonal movements. So just up, down, right, and left on the D-pad. That is it. Do not do any diagonals. And as you can see, I'm also jumping in and out of the buggy. That's just to stop any random encounters. This version of the trick, though, actually will not screw up if you get a random encounter. So if you screw this up and get a random encounter, it will not screw up the trick. The old one, the big issue with it was that you could not get encounters because it would screw up the double chocobo glitch, but this one does not involve the double chocobo glitch. So you can get to as many encounters as you want on your way there, as long as you don't do any diagonal movement or bump any walls. You need to make sure you don't touch any walls or like the edge of the water or anything, which can be a bit tricky through here because of the mountains, but there we go, we're through. Okay, so now that we are here, we are going to line up the buggy with basically where the grid of the world map is. If you can see, the world map is kind of split into like little grids, and you can see the lines in the ground. You want the wheels to be lined up with that line right there. So we're going to move across the line, and then we're going to put the buggy into this spot right here. You can tell this is the right spot because if you see that cliff where it's kind of coming to a point, the point is pointing directly at the buggy's second wheel. So that's when you know that you're in the right horizontal position. Then we're going to move up until the buggy is lined up with the cliff face there. Kind of looks like it's just barely peeking over the cliff face. So it kind of lines up perfectly there, the angle. So that is where you want to be vertically. And now, this is the hardest part. All you need to do is 1 pixel movement to the left and 1 pixel movement up. So we're going to do 1 to the left, 1 up. Once you've done that, you simply get out of the buggy, get back in the buggy, and move to the left. And there it is. We just skipped Cosmo Canyon. Normally, the buggy would break down. Oh, I wasn't supposed to get into a fight. Normally, the buggy would break down there, and you'd be forced to go into Cosmo Canyon. But we have completely skipped that, and you can move all the way up to Nibelheim and start the Nibelheim quest and not ever have to do Cosmo Canyon. Let's see it here. There it is. That's where it normally breaks down. So, that is the new setup for Cosmo Canyon skip. Like I said, the big thing with this skip, because it was possible before, but the big thing with this skip is that it's easier, so more people can actually attempt it in their games now, and it does not involve an in-game time, which means the beginning of the game can be as fast as you want it to be, because you do not need to hit that specific in-game time. So this should be a huge time improvement. You also don't need to buy chocobo lore anymore, just a small optimization there, because you don't need to catch chocobo anymore, so you don't need to spend the gil. You can spend the gil on other things, and you don't have to actually do that menuing. And there's probably some other small things that will be improved in the run because of this. But in general, it's just way more accessible for everyone, and will make the PS1 speedrun a much, much better speedrun moving forward. Just to note as well, this skip should work on the PC version, but the setup is going to be slightly different, because the way that world map interactions work with you bumping into things like the beach, the values are actually a bit different on PC. So this should in theory work, but someone's going to have to come up with a different setup for it to work on PC. The main PC categories don't use Cosmo Canyon skip anyways, so it'd be more of just for fun, or maybe for the no warp category. But yeah, should work on every version of Final Fantasy VII given the right setup. This is the setup that works on the PS1 version, and I just want to thank all of the amazing community members that have really delved deep into Final Fantasy VII over the past couple weeks and found some incredible things. Another holy grail has been found in Final Fantasy VII speedrunning. I cannot wait to see what is coming down the road. Thanks again, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.